So now let us discuss about the manufacturing of cement. So cement is generally manufactured by three ways. So namely wet process, second one semi dry process, third one is dry process. So in case of wet process, so all the ingredients source which are used for calcium oxide, silica, aluminum oxide and iron oxide. So all the ingredients are mixed with about 30 to 40% of water and introduced into the kiln. 30 to 40% of water and then introduced into the kiln. So we know that kiln is a long hollow rotating instrument, right? So which rotates in the axis. So that is referred as kiln. So in case of wet process, so all the ingredients so need to be introduced into the kiln are mixed with about 30 to 40% of water. So that's why it is referred as wet process. So in case of wet process, before introducing all the ingredients into the kiln, so all the ingredients mixed with about 30 to 40% of water. That's why it is called as wet process. So in case of semi-dry process, so all the ingredients are mixed with about 15 to 20% of water and then introduced into the kiln. In case of dry process, so all the ingredients without mixing with water introduced into the kiln. Without water introduced into the kiln. So that's why this is referred as dry process. So when it comes to the semi-dry process, before introducing the ingredients into the kiln, it is mixed with 15 to 20% of water. So when it comes to wet process, before introducing all the ingredients into the kiln, it is mixed with about 30 to 40% of water. So from dry process, so cement is manufactured in large quantity. So we know that the source for calcium oxide lime is limestone. So first the source for lime, calcium carbonate CaCO3 limestone, is mined from the earth crust. So that means in case of dry process, if you want to manufacture the cement from dry process, first we need to mine all the ingredients. Say for example, limestone as a source for calcium oxide and other ingredients such as alumina Al2O3 and then silica SiO2 and then iron oxide Fe2O3. So all the ingredients basically mined from the earth crust and then subjected for manufacturing process. So that's why the first step involved with respect to the manufacturing of cement is mining. So that means all the ingredients required for the manufacturing of cement such as limestone. So limestone is used as a source for calcium oxide CaO, and then silica SiO2, alumina Al2O3 and iron oxide Fe2O3. So all the ingredients first need to mine from the earth crust. So that's why the first step involved with respect to the manufacturing of cement is considered as mining. So after mining, so all the ingredients mixed in a mixture or grinding mill. In a mixture or in a grinding mill. So that means the second step involved with respect to the manufacturing of cement is mixing of raw material. Mixing of raw materials. So this is about second step. So mixing of raw material involves that the raw materials such as calcium, silicon, iron and aluminium. So we know that are the main raw elements so used in the production of cement. So depending on the metals availability, so whatever the ingredients I have mentioned, so these minerals are thoroughly mixed in a grinding mill. In a grinding mill. So afterwards, so the mixed raw materials are subjected for burning. Subjected for burning, and burning process is basically carried out in a kiln burning process is basically carried out in a kiln, right? So it is a rotating kiln burns the raw material as they spin at its longitudinal axis. So the speed of rotating kiln is about 1 to 2 rpm. About 1 to 2 rpm. So the rotating speed of kiln is about 1 to 2 rpm. So afterwards, the steel tube, this is a steel tube, is about 90 to 120 meter. It's about 90 to 120 meter. And when come to the radius or the diameter of the kiln is about 2.5 to 3 meter. 2.5 to 3 meter. So the diameter of the rotating kiln is about 2.5 to 3 meter. So basically the kiln is resting on a roller bearing in a slightly angled position. So slightly angled position. So and this one is basically supported by masonry or concrete columns. So to create lengthy and hot flames. So inside the kiln, so basically we are going to fire the hot gases or oil or powdered coal from the lower part, from this part. So in order to produce fire, so inside the kiln, so the kiln is basically fired using hot gases or oil or powdered coal from the lower part of the kiln. So the material basically charged from the higher end, from this end. So basically the materials are charged from the higher end, right? And then the materials moves from higher end to the lower end very slowly. So about speed about 15 meter per hour. 15 meter per hour. So the rate of flow of raw materials from upper end to the lower end through the kiln is about 15 meter per hour. So due to the kiln inclination and slow rotation. So this one is basically achieved due to the kiln inclination and slow rotation. So now the water or the moisture content of the raw materials is evaporated at about temperature 400 degrees centigrade at this region. So that means the moisture content present in the raw materials is basically removed in the upper region of the kiln by maintaining about 400 degrees centigrade. So here the temperature maintained is about 400 degree centigrade. And then the raw material is moved towards the lower end, right? So this region is also called as dry region. So because this is the region where removal of moisture is taking place, that's why it is also called as drying zone, right? And the decomposition of limestone is also occurs in the calcination zone, I mean center region, where the temperature is about 1000 degrees centigrade. So the center zone means in this region. So in this region what happens? The limestone, right? So what we express the limestone in terms of calcium carbonate, CaCO3 is get decomposed into CaO, calcium oxide, and gives rise CO2, carbon dioxide. So this reaction, I mean decomposition of limestone into lime, takes place at the middle region. So here the temperature maintained is about 1000 degree centigrade. It's about 1000 degree centigrade. And then the resultant raw material is moved towards lower end. So so this region is also called as clinker zone. This region is also called as clinker zone, because this is the region where clinker is produced. So due to decomposition of raw materials, right? So in the clinker zone, I mean the lower region, so lime and clay reacts at about 1600 degrees centigrade to yield the Box compounds, calcium aluminates and calcium silicates. So these aluminates and silicates of calcium fuse together to form small and hard stones known as clinkers. So the size of the clinkers is about 5 to 10 millimeter. So when come to the reactions involved with respect to the formation of clinker is as follows. So in the clinker zone, so this one maintained about 1400 to 1600 degrees centigrade, and this one yields calcium aluminate and calcium silicates. At clinker zone, so the raw materials such as calcium oxide reacts with SiO2. When calcium oxide burn with SiO2, it gives rise Ca2SiO4. So we know that this is represented by C2S. And tricalcium silicate is formed when 3 moles of calcium oxide reacts with SiO2. So that gives rise Ca3SiO5. So this is represented by C3S. And then when 3 moles of CaO reacts with alumina Al2O3, it gives rise Ca3Al2O6. This is represented by C3A. And finally C3AF, calcium aluminoferrate, forms when 4 moles of CaO reacts with Al2O3 as well as Fe2O3. So that gives rise C4AF. So the chemical composition of C4AF is Ca4 Al2 Fe2O10. This is represented by C4AF. So these components so are basically formed at clinker zone. So that means when in the clinker zone, and I mean in the lower zone, lime and clay when react at 1600 degrees centigrade, so that yields calcium aluminates and calcium fuse together to form small and hard stones known as clinkers of size about 5 to 10 millimeter. So finally the clinkers cooled by passing air and collected in a small trolleys. So after the production of clinkers, so then the clinkers are ground finely into powders in a ball mill or tube mill, and during final grinding it is mixed with about 4 to 5% powder gypsum, which acts as a retarding agent. So basically gypsum prevents the dissolution of tricalcium aluminates by generating tricalcium sulfoaluminates, which is insoluble and prevents too early subsequent reaction of setting and hardening. So that's why, so after getting the clinkers from the lower side, the clinkers are subjected for grinding. Subjected for grinding. Subjected for grinding. So finally, after grinding, so whatever the product so formed, so obtained, is finally stored in a silos, from which it is marketed either in 50 kg bags or in a container loads. So in brief, cement is basically manufactured either from wet process, semi-dry process or dry process. So in case of wet process, all the ingredients basically mixed with 30 to 40% of water and then introduced into the kiln. In case of semi-dry process, so all the ingredients mixed with about 15 to 20% of water and then introduced into the kiln. So in case of dry process, without mixing with water, so all the ingredients basically introduced into the kiln. So when come to the dry process, the first step involved with respect to dry process is mining. So all the ingredients, the starting materials required for the manufacturing of cement, such as lime and then silica and then aluminum oxide and iron oxide, basically mined from the earth crust and then mixed thoroughly in a mixture, and then it is subjected for burning process with the help of a rotating kiln. So the length of the kiln is about 90 to 120 meter and the diameter of the kiln is about 2.5 to 3 meter, and the kiln rotates along the axis at the rate of about 1 to 2 rpm. So here there will be three regions. First one is upper region, where the moisture is removed from the ingredients. So this one is middle region, where the limestone get converted or get decomposed into limestone. Limestone where get decomposed into lime. This one. So the reaction involved is calcium carbonate gives rise calcium oxide plus CO2. So at the lower region, it is also referred as clinker zone. So this is the region where all the ingredients thoroughly mixed and burn to get clinkers. The chemical composition of clinkers basically C2S, C3S, C3A and C4AF. So this is the reaction involved with respect to the formation of clinkers. And then finally the clinkers so formed is cooled by passing air and collected in a small trolleys. And finally whatever the clinkers so obtained is subjected for grinding. So that means the clinkers are ground finely into powders in a ball mill or tube mill and during final grinding. So that means it is mixed with about at the end stage, at the grinding process, whatever the powder obtained, cement powder obtained, so is mixed with about 4 to 5% powder gypsum, so which acts as a retardant agent. So gypsum, we know that prevents the dissolution of tricalcium aluminate by generating tricalcium sulfoaluminate, so which is insoluble and prevents too early subsequent reaction of setting and hardening. And after mixing with gypsum, so whatever the product obtained, cement, so is stored in a silos, from which it is marketed either in 50 kg bags or container loads. So this is about manufacturing of cement, basically from dry process. So now let us discuss about the process of setting and hardening of cement. So here the term setting. So setting is the process of becoming stiffer as a result of the initial gel formation, whereas hardening is the progressive process of crystallization occurring inside the mass, which result in the development of strength. So when cement comes in contact with water, so we know that it hardens. So this hardening is a crystallization process. So when crystals begin to form a interlock with one another, so after a given amount of time, so known as the initial set time. So before the cement set, the concrete is fully fluid. So after that, it gradually becomes harder. So the aggregate particles are contained within the dense substance created by the cement and water combination that has the crystallized in this manner. So over the several months, the concrete keeps hardening. So basically the setting and hardening of cement is mainly caused by important ingredients, what we call it as Bogue's compounds. So the setting and hardening property of cement is mainly due to Bogue's compounds. So when cement mixed with water, so in the beginning, right, assume first day, when cement mixed with water, so from day one, it start hardening. So the initial setting, I mean the hardening process of cement within a day. So what takes place within a day? So it's mainly caused by the C3A content and C4AF content. So that means the initial setting is mainly due to the hydration of C3A and C4AF, and this one happens within a day and helps till 28th day. So the hydration of C3A and C4AF can be written as C3A plus 6H2O gives rise C3A dot 6H2, hydrated tricalcium aluminate, and it gives rise about 880 kilojoules per kg energy, heat energy. So when come to this hydration of C4AF, so on hydrolysis again C4AF get hydrolyzed into C3A6H2O. In addition to this, it also generates CFH2. So in addition to these hydrolyzed compounds, this one generates heat energy about 420 kilojoules per kg. So that means the initial setting of cement is mainly due to the hydration of C3A and C4AF, and hydrolysis C3A get converted into C3A.6H2O, hydrated tricalcium aluminate, whereas C4AF on hydrolysis, C4AF get converted into tricalcium aluminate, that means hydrated tricalcium aluminate. In addition to that, it also generates calcium ferrite, that means hydrated calcium ferrite, and also it generates about 420 kilojoules per kg amount of heat energy. So this is about initial setting and hardening of cement. So basically this one happens at day one itself. So when come to the setting and hardening of cement from day 1 to day 7, so this is about day 1. So when come to the setting and hardening of cement from day 1 to day 7, so this one is mainly caused by C3S content. So the setting and hardening of cement from day 1 to day 7 is mainly caused by C3S content. So that means in the next step after this one, C3S begins to hydrate, and this one happens within 24 hours and get completed in a week. So that's why the setting and hardening of cement from day 1 to day 7 is represented by the hydrolysis of C3S content. So that can be written as C3S on hydrolysis 6H2O. So in the presence of O2 or 1.5 O2, it gives rise C3S2 3H2. In addition, it also gives rise calcium hydroxide. hydroxide, and also it generates heat energy about 500 kilojoules per kg. So that means the setting and hardening of cement from day 1 to day 7 is mainly caused by C3S content. Next, the C3S content begins to hydrate within 24 hours and get completed in a week. So that means when come to the reactions involved, so C3S, so that means 2 moles of C3S by consuming 6 moles of water in the presence of 1.5 O2 get converted or get hydrolyzed into C3S2 In addition to this, it also gives rise 3 moles of calcium hydroxide and liberates about 500 kilojoules per kg heat energy. Finally, the gel of aluminate begins to crystallize and subsequently C2S begins to hydrate from day 7 to day 28. So that means the setting and hardening process of cement from day 7 to day 28 is mainly caused by C2S content. So when come to this one, day 1 to day 7. So when come to the setting and hardening of cement from day 7 to day 28 is mainly caused by the hydration of C2S. So when C2S, so the content of a cement C2S when hydrolyzed, so in the presence of oxygen of O2 gives rise C3S2 6H2. In addition, it also gives rise calcium hydroxide and generates energy about 250 kilojoules per kg. So in brief, so this one hydrolysis of C2S happens from day 7 to day 28. So that means the hardening and setting of cement is mainly caused by Bogues compounds such as C3A, C4AF, C3S and C2S. Let us discuss about the additives of cement. So in order to increase the quality of cement, so cement is basically mixed with some additives. So there are so many additives which are added to the cement to increase the quality of cement. So among them, so important additives which are added to the cement to increase the quality are as follows. So the first important ingredient or additive which is added to the cement to increase the quality of cement is water repelling agent. So second important additive which is added to the cement to increase the quality of cement is accelerators. So the third important additive added to the cement is air entertainment agents. Fourth important additive which is added to the cement is gas forming agents. Fifth important additive which is added to the cement is pozzolanic materials. And then the last important additive which is added to the cement to increase the quality of cement is corrosion inhibitors. corrosion inhibitors. So now let us discuss one by one. Water repelling agent. So here the name itself indicates these organic additives or inorganic additives which are added to the cement to increase the water repelling property. So that means, so these are the chemical compounds used in waterproof cement. Waterproof cement. So basically to repel the water. So the hydrophobic cement is manufactured through this method. So that means just by adding film forming substances to cement. So basically water repelling agents are added in small quantity, so about 0.1 to 0.2%. So some important examples for water repelling agents which are mixed with cement are stearates of sodium, aluminum, and then ammonia, calcium or olators, petroleum oils or wax. So these are the commonly used water repelling agents. So when come to the accelerator, so the name itself indicates, so these additives are added to increase the early strengthening. So chemical compounds such as common salt like calcium chloride, organic compounds like triethanolamine, and other soluble compounds like carbonates, silicates and fluorosilicates are commonly used as accelerators. So basically these compounds quicken the hydration of cement. So when accelerators mixed or introduced into the cement, so these accelerators quickens the hydration of cement. So in case of colder months, assume in case of colder months, so when these chemicals added, so these chemicals perform at their best. That's why so accelerators are added to the cement. So when come to the third important additive so of cement is air entertainment agent. So these additives are basically used to inject tiny air bubbles into the concrete to stabilize it. So the end consequence is that concrete is kept from cracking in a cold environment. So additionally, the addition of air increases the cohesive force, so lowering the segregation and water bleeding before the concrete has fully set. So vegetable and animal fats and oil are basically used as air entertainment ingredients. So when come to the fourth important additive, so gas forming agents. So these are added to cement in about 0.005 to 0.02%. So this one basically added to produce gas which leads lightweight, sound or heat insulation. So for example, aluminum powder is commonly used as gas forming agent. So that release hydrogen bubble by reacting with calcium hydroxide. So which is formed during hydrolysis of C3S and C2S. So when come to the pozzolanic material, so these materials are added up to 10 to 35% of the cement in hydraulic structures. Basically pozzolanic materials are added to lower the heat of hydration and to resist the effect of sulfate, chloride and natural acids. So finely powdered siliceous and aluminous compounds are commonly employed, which are not cementitious, but when they combined with hydrated lime and water gives cementitious values. So these compounds have minimal effect on a rate of gain of the early strength, but provides higher strength to the structure under favorable curing condition. When come to the last important additive of cement, so corrosion inhibitor. So where chloride salt and sulfate salt present in the sand, so these additives are basically added. So these chloride ions may cause corrosion of steel. We know that the chloride content of soil, so we know that causes corrosion of steel, resulting in rust formation. So the most critical application of this is in marine construction. So basically corrosion inhibitors are basically added where construction is carried out, marine constructions. So and also they are employed in parking garages, bridges, right? when come to the corrosion inhibitors, so there are some important examples such as sodium nitrate and calcium nitrate are commonly used as corrosion inhibitors. So in reinforcing concrete structures. So this is about additive to increase the quality of cement. So now let us discuss about cement testing. So national cement requirements specify the number of tests to which cement must pass to regulate the chemical requirement, physical requirement, fineness, soundness and setting time of the cement. So when come to the chemical requirement, so the important chemical requirement should pass by a cement sample is lime saturation factor. Lime saturation factor. So lime saturation factor should be in the range of 0.66 to 1.02. So basically this one is calculated by a formula that is equal to CaO minus 0.7 SO3 divided by 2.8 silica SiO2 plus 1.2% Al2O3 plus 0.65 Fe2O3. So this is the formula which is used to find out the lime saturation factor. So the lime saturation factor should be 0.66 to 1.02. In addition, so second chemical requirement of cement is the ratio between oxides of iron and aluminium. This one should be less than 0.66. So the ratio between oxides of aluminium and iron should be less than 0.66. And then so the insoluble residues present in the cement should be less than 2%. Insoluble residues should be less than 2%. So then the magnesium oxide content, fourth one, MgO content should be less than 6%. Then fifth one, SO3 content should be less than 2.75%. And finally, the loss of ignition should be less than 4%. So this is the chemical requirement of the cement. When come to the physical requirement, so this is about chemical requirement. So when come to the physical requirement, so the important physical requirement is setting time. So the setting time, there are two setting times. We know that initial setting time and final setting time. When come to the initial setting time, so the initial setting time should not be less than 30 minutes, half an hour, and final setting time should be less than 10 hours. So the next important physical requirement is compressive strength. So for this test, basically is carried out for the a cube which is obtained by treating 1:3 ratio cement and sand. So then that cube should withstand 1.6 and 2.2 kg per mm cube for 3 and 7 days respectively. When come to the fineness, so basically fineness is basically regulated by using Blaine permeability method. So that means Blaine permeability method has been used to regulate fineness. So fineness of the cement should not less than 215 meter square per kg. So I mean the fineness of the cement should not less than 215 meter square per kg. So when come to the soundness, so we know that cement cannot significantly expand after setting because this could cause a mortar or concrete to crack. So the soundness feature is examined by autoclave method and Lee Chatelier method. So, and it should not expand more than 0.8 and 5 to 10 mm respectively. So this is about the chemical requirement and physical requirement of cement. So which comes under cement testing. Thank you.